Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us and welcome to episode 4, our final episode of Maulcastrophe. I am your host, Scott, with my other host, Dick.
I'm Dick.
He's Dick.
I'm Dick.
I'm Scott. And today we are talking about Maul Shadow Lord episodes. We're kind of doing a long one today. We're doing episodes 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Yeah.
We've got a lot to unpack for this episode. So
Do you want to tell them why we're doing all of them at once?
Dick and I are bad at scheduling, and we missed last week's. So
Sure did.
we just kind of ran out of time. We literally just, I don't even think we mentioned it. I think we got to the end of the weekend, and I realized, like, oh shit, we didn't record Maulcastrophe last week. So we're just going to condense it into a, probably hour long special. So
Yeah.
we're, we're going to
I
dive on in.
we could have done two separate episodes and then just released them all at once, but no,
While it's fresh in our minds,
let's
it
just
feels better to do 7 through 10.
let's just do the whole thing. Fuck it, we ball.
Fuck it, we ball. So that's a great segue into, so where we
That is
left off
that's such a great fuck it, we ball is such a great segue.
is such a great segue. So, episode 7, this is where we ended off last time, where at the start of episode 7, we just had the fight with Maul and one of the Inquisitors who was
Maroc.
chasing Maroc, who is chasing Devin and Riley. And they're in the, I don't know what you want to call it, like tram tunnel. They're underground, and Maul's been injured a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so at this point, they decide that they're all going to have to basically trust each other if they want to get out of this alive. Chewbacca, stop. Can't do this the whole podcast, bro.
Yeah.
So at this point, it's we kind of see, like, things forming where Maul's really pushing in on Devin. He's really trying to get her. This fight they just had, Maul's kind of holding back a little bit. Like, he steps in when it's necessary, but we see him really pushing the point home of trying to see what, Devin's all about, trying to
Yeah.
get her to, like, reach into her anger.
What she's capable of. It's cool.
And at this point, she's resisted quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
She feels
Yeah.
the temptation there, but she hasn't really leaned into it. She's just kind of, when she's with Maul, obviously probably influence of the dark side a little bit, but she's still, like, level-headed because she thinks of her master, right?
Yes.
Master
Yeah.
Master Daki.
Eco Dio Daki.
Daki. That's right, Master Daki. So at this
That's
point,
that. What a name! What a name!
that is a
I'm
crazy name.
it took me like 7 episodes to finally like
Yeah,
get
no,
his
to
name
really
in
grasp
my head.
it. Yeah, to really get a hold
Eco
of it.
Dio, I think it's Eco Dio Daki.
Yeah, Iko Diodaki. Yeah, that's a mouthful. So
Maul,
at this
Shadow
point,
Lord. Let me make sure that I'm saying it right. I
I'm
have to.
I'm pretty sure that's
Yeah,
that's correct.
I am played by Dennis
Okay.
Haysbert,
Yeah. Yeah, the All-State
the
guy,
Allstate guy,
which is
the
crazy.
guy from the unit, and
Mhm.
he is a unit.
He is a unit. He's an absolute
Can I
unit.
can I just say how much I really enjoy the character of Iko Dio Daki, Master Daki.
No,
I
he's
really enjoy him as a Jedi.
I would really like to see a little bit more of his character fleshed out, because we only get him for this Maul stint. I'd like to see whether it's a short or it's a book or a
Oh
comic,
yeah, like
like,
a new Tales of the Jedi or something.
yeah, just something that shows, like, it, because we've seen so much. So, like, something we get with Maul is this, unique kind of insight into, here's two Jedi we've never been introduced to before. We have a Padawan and an actual master. Like,
Yeah,
it is not even implied. Like, at this point, Maul has even stated, like, he is a Jedi master in every sense of the word. So and we get the idea that, like, he's pretty powerful. He's obviously old. He's probably a little malnourished. They're
He's
probably not eating or
wise,
sleeping much,
just
but
very
he is
wise.
wise. He's extremely wise. He's calm. He's patient. He's very
He's very adherent to the
exhibits like
Jedi code.
extremely, extremely so. He has a lot of faith, right? He's almost like he kind of reminds me of how you would view like what would you call it? Almost like a I don't want to say a Templar, but maybe like a knight back in like the Dark
Yeah,
Ages, where it's like
he
very
gives me
devout.
Qui-Gon vibes. You know, he's not
Yes, yeah,
maybe what I'm saying. Not I'm not trying to say he's adherent to the Jedi code, but he's adherent to the light side of the Force.
yeah.
He's
He's
very
he recognizes temptation and he actively shies away from it. Like,
yeah
and he truly doesn't believe that like the dark side is stronger. Um, he really does believe that like faith in the light will show you the path. And so we get this it's a really great kind of triangle between like Maul, Docky, and Devin, where like Maul's really trying to put a wedge in there. But obviously, as long as Docky's there, like Devin's, she falters at times when Docky's not around to remind her, but she's still like we can see his teachings in her, and she exhibits it very well in
yeah.
this sort of tunnel.
You also gotta put it into a little more perspective. So they've been living in this exile, you know, and she's a teenager, child. Um,
Yeah.
the temptation of the dark side is very real for her because the galaxy has betrayed the Jedi. She's the Jedi. Um, she's forced to live like this in exile, and and when you're that age, nothing's fair. You know, like
Oh yeah, no,
the
life is
world's
out
out
to
to
get
get
you.
you, and nothing's
Yeah.
fair, and quite literally, the entire galaxy is out to get her and her
Yeah.
master. So like, she's in a dark place, whether she knows it or not, and she's primed to be turned to the dark side.
You can see the building blocks, like the foundation being laid by Maul to really like eventually, and it's everybody keeps saying like, are we finally going to get our Talon? And that remains to be seen. And so we get this escape through the tunnel. They get to the point to where hey, it's time for us to go. Riley's like, okay, we're leaving. Maul doesn't exactly let them go, right? Riley and Devin decide like, hey, we want to escape. Maul's like, I don't really think so. At the point where they're about to run, ambush,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
We get ambushed and we get into this huge fight sequence of the Empire showing up, really trying to stop them from getting to, which I think is really cool. It kind of shows they're trying to get to like one of the old like Mandalorian ships
yeah,
that we don't see anymore. Remnants of Maul's time ruling Mandalore. So I think it's those little Easter eggs that I'm a big fan of. But we get this. It's something I keep saying that we've seen with Maul throughout this is old Maul would have done anything he could have to basically be like, aside from throwing Savage to the wolves, he'd have thrown anyone else to the wolves if it meant like he could escape or he could get away.
yeah,
He'd do whatever it takes. Where, when they get ambushed, we see Maul very often, in fact, throughout, this whole series so far, he has these moments where he hesitates, where he looks at his objective and then he looks at like the danger that's directly in front of him and his men and he's like, I've got to protect my people because without them, I'm back to having nothing. And
yeah,
so he makes the decision, because we at this point, Riley and Devin run away. The Empire shows up. Devin goes to fight next to Maul with the stormtroopers, and Riley is cut off. Right,
yeah,
whole fight sequence ensues, and I really love the ability of this show. It really the ability of any show, but Maul does it very well, where they can make you care about characters and their, you know, that we'll call it what it is. Their deaths have impact. So
yeah.
in this bridge fight sequence, a lot happens. Right,
Hmm.
we've got Mandos who are betraying Maul.
Yep.
Right, that go to run off, and the ship just explodes, which I really love that we get to see more scenes of the rockets coming out of the, rocket launchers that are on the gunships. Because the last time I feel like we really see that, aside from like Clone Wars, maybe, and even then, I don't remember it a ton in Clone Wars, is we see it in episode two in
Yeah.
Attack of the Clones, where, they're like, hey, attack those Federation starships, and they're shooting rockets out. I don't know why, but I had always thought until like very recent, and by very recently, I mean like the last few years, I had always thought that those were just some sort of like maybe they were like fuel pods or they had like just for aerodynamics. I never realized that that was kind of where the rockets came out of, even though they explicitly show you in episode two with the rockets like kind of
Yeah.
turning
Yeah.
in and loading up. I haven't watched episode two in years and years and years, so I rewatched it recently and it was just kind of lost on me, that small
I
detail.
might have watched it last year. I don't know.
It's, you
At
know
one
what?
point, at some point, I literally watched. So I watched all the sequel movies, and
Yeah,
then I went back and watched the originals, and then the prequels.
I've never watched a sequel movie more than one time. I constantly go back and revisit the prequels. For Star Wars Day, which was this week.
Yeah,
Um,
I watched them
I
all.
I watched
I
them
watched them
all.
all. That's about
Um,
it.
I watched them all, and then I also watched episodes one, two, and three.
Oh wow.
And so, yeah, I just kind of I went through it all. Um, since we were kind of like Maul's kind of right after this era, right?
Yeah.
But on this bridge, we see a conflicted Devon, right? She sees Riley. Riley gets captured by the
Yes.
Empire during this bridge sequence. And we see her, she's freaking out because he gets caught. But right before he gets caught, we see the conflict in her where she's like, the right thing to do in this situation would be to get Riley and run. And instead, and this is how my interpretation of it is, her anger kind of takes over and her emotion takes over because instead of going to help Riley, she immediately turns around to go fight the stormtroopers with Maul.
Hmm.
And that's probably a misinterpretation, but that's just kind of how I'm seeing it through the lens of how she feels about the Empire and what they've done to her and so forth.
Right.
And so something I really love though about this bridge scene, so we got Riley who gets captured and he's flown off, and we see Devon try to make, she does a very good job. I'm very impressed with her force jump because that girl
Yeah.
makes a fucking leap of faith to go after
Yeah.
Riley.
Hey, one moment, real quick. I'm gonna reset my Wi-Fi, and I'll be right back. All right.
There it is.
And Wi-Fi reset right as he was taking a drink. Oh yeah, there
We're
you
doing it
are.
live.
There you
There
are.
it is.
Yeah, you were frozen.
There it
You were
is.
starting to freeze up a little bit, so I'm like, I'm gonna take care of
Oh,
this now.
perfect. Yep.
So anyway, force jumping, Devin.
Force jumping, Devon, and then so it's really my favorite part of episode 7 comes kind of at this bridge sequence where um so we see like actual like impactful loss in this episode, right?
Yeah.
So far throughout the Maul series, there hasn't been any loss of like real substance. Like some side characters die that like we very like briefly get introduced to and things like that. But what we truly see is one of the Zabraks gets killed.
Yes.
And if I'm not mistaken, one of the Zabraks gets killed by an Inquisitor.
And if you'll notice, it's very similar to how Savage was killed,
Yes.
which
Yes,
triggers
extremely
Maul.
similar.
This triggers Maul.
Yep. It kind of sends him into a rage, right? And so we see one of the Zabraks die.
Hmm.
And it for a character that's got almost no lines, that has almost no screen time, that really does very little except kind of walk around and shoot a
Shoot a
Gatling
Yeah, I
gun,
was gonna say shoot a big cannon,
shoot a
Gatling
Gatling
cannon.
gun. Like we don't really see much of this guy, but his death is really felt because in this moment the other Zabrak yells brother,
Yeah.
right? And then we're at the point that this has happened, Maul is fighting an Inquisitor in this, a series of caves, basically.
Yeah.
Um, so he's just trying to take on, because if I'm not mistaken, Devin was able to. Didn't somebody push one of them off, or was it just the what? Was it just the one Inquisitor who showed up? Not Merrick, but the other guy, the guy with the full.
The 11th brother,
Yeah,
the
the guy with
crow.
like the yes, the crow, the one that Ahsoka later on just absolutely fucking embarrasses.
Oh yeah, just
Um,
that. I'll get to that because
yeah,
that's something good old Star Wars theory brought up and won't leave be.
that's interesting. So I
I do want to talk.
curious to hear about that.
Yeah, so he keeps bringing up power scaling, which in my opinion, Star Wars does not have power scaling. You're either super in tune
Well,
with the
yeah,
Force,
or
or
you're not
you're not, or you've trained and you've just developed
honed.
skills.
Yeah,
And
and I don't even know if it's so much as developing skill. Like
well, like
I would say,
lightsaber
like
skills.
so there's lightsaber skills, and there's tricks you can do with the Force and things like
Yeah,
that. But I don't know
athletic
if it's
prowess, like there's all kinds of things. It's not like fucking Dragon Ball Z where you have like power levels and you like scale
yeah,
like
you keep breaking
you keep
barriers.
breaking barriers and or yeah, it's just not like that in Star Wars. Like
So
he's
what
like
I
he says Ahsoka embarrasses the 11th brother and kills him like instantly, and Ahsoka's supposed to be on the same level as Maul because Ahsoka beats Maul,
Yep.
and but Maul can't handle him. It's like,
So
well,
this, I'm actually really glad you brought this
yeah,
up, because
Maul's on
we
the back
see, and
foot.
Maul's been on the back foot almost this entire, like, basically since he fights the first Inquisitor, right? Because he's his since that battle with Lawson and the police force, he's kind of on the back foot. He's running from the Empire. He's been found out.
Yeah,
He's
his legs
been
damaged
his
because of
legs
Daki.
damaged, and we see that. I love that they pay attention to the small detail. We constantly see Maul keep punching his leg. He's always like tapping it on the ground. He's like taking pressure off of it. He's constantly trying to figure out, how do I, you know, fight and flee with this leg. And so it's not just like a little detail where, like, oh, he gets lightsaber singed on the side.
Yeah.
This is actually like an impactful, like, it was a good blow by Daki, right? And
Hmm.
it's impeding Maul in a ton of ways. And we see this in his fight with the Crow, where he's on the back foot, right? And we have to think, Maul's exhausted. He just fought Merrick in the tunnels, and now he's got to fight Crow. Like, he's he's taking all of this literally in stride, as he tries to, as well as he can, kind of cope with, how do I get out of here? But at the same time, I'm damaged and I'm trying to do this thing with Devin.
Yeah.
While, there's a lot going on. But I love this saber duel that he has with the Crow, where it basically shows that, like, Maul is powerful, and these Inquisitors know that Maul is powerful. But Maul's been hurt a little bit. He's kind of winded, right? He's been running the marathon while these other guys are just doing sprints when they find Maul,
Yeah.
They're well rested. They're very well, taken care of. They've got all of their abilities with them. And this is something too that I kind of want to say, like, as a addition to, like, power scaling. In my mind, because if you look at the way that Star Wars works, it's definitely never been about power scaling. It is about, like, honing and learning new abilities. But to me, the way that happens through almost everything we've seen through Star Wars is experience.
Yeah.
It is literally just learned experience through, largely through combat. Like, you don't see a lot of Jedi's developing their skills at the temple, where I'm sure this happens. I feel like a lot of Jedi and, Sith, I actually feel like practice more, because Sith learn force choke, and
Hmm.
they learn fear, they learn lightning. Like, those are
Yeah.
things that you don't
Well,
just develop.
it's a lot of experience and it's a lot of tapping into the Force. It's a tapping into like
Yes,
your alignment with the Force. Like
right.
dark side
And as that
users grow
alignment
more powerful
continues,
with by using the advantages of the dark side of the Force, tapping into their hatred, tapping into their pain and anger, all that stuff.
right.
Whereas the light side users, they get their power from discipline. They get their power from peace, from calm. So,
And it's you see that, right? Especially in their fighting styles. And Maul, makes a mention a few times to Devin throughout the series. He's like, "You're still fighting like a Jedi.
yeah.
You need to adapt. The galaxy's different.
Yeah. Yeah.
You need to fight like not necessarily a Sith. He doesn't go straight out and say it because he himself no longer considers himself to be a Sith.
Yeah, for
But he's
sure.
like, you can't fight like a Jedi. You got to be fluid. So we have this fight that ensues between the Crow and Maul ekes it out by like an inch, right? Like the he does the classic, it's something I do enjoy about this series is we see more use of the Force in combat. We're getting
Yeah.
force pushes, we're getting force pulls,
Getting a lot of
um
pushes and pulls. And
we're
the
getting a
and
lot of pushes and
and the sound
pulls.
effects form are pulled straight from Force Unleashed.
Yes, they're so good. And I'm
I'm
so
not I'm
glad you
that
brought
that
that up.
yeah, like I found that out. I'm like, "Oh, that's neat."
Yes.
Another one of Sam
There
Witwer's projects. Hell yeah.
there's a lot of Force Unleashed, specifically Force Unleashed 1 Easter eggs in this
Yes, and it's
because
great.
the droid is proxy, right?
Yeah.
So we get these two
Oh,
working together again, which
Spybot.
I think is neat. Yeah, Spybot is proxy. It's the same voice actor.
Yep. Spybot,
We'll get there,
my boy.
my boy.
My boy Spybot.
So really, we get through this whole fight sequence, right? Maul's losing people. Riley's been captured. Devin is, contending with, well, how the hell, I've got to get out of here. I've got to get back to my master. Now I have to rescue Riley. There's a lot going on here, and Maul has now, he's not beaten, but he's hurt
Can
bad.
we also add what was said to him before he pulled the ceiling down? When
Yes,
he looked like he was surrendering, and Marok said, "Oh, there's no surrender for you. We're not bringing you in. The
the
Emperor
Emperor
wants you
wants
dead,"
you dead.
which is like
The
cold as fuck, and
It's cold as fuck.
it just goes to show you like he is like target one. He is main priority.
Yeah,
Get rid of him. No bringing him in. Like there's no risking it. He has to die.
Maul is literally, and Star Wars is like poetry, right? It rhymes. There's so much rhyme to the different threads that we see throughout all of Star Wars where in this situation where, Myrock's like, he doesn't want you, he wants you dead. That is literally him saying like, you're too dangerous to be left alive. It's the same thing that Palpatine said to Anakin when he kills Dooku. It's the same thing that Windu says to Anakin when he's about to kill Palpatine. Like, this guy's too dangerous to be left alive. And as as little words as like he wants you dead. Maul, you are too dangerous to be left alive. If I leave you alive, your conniving and scheming could come back to thwart me one day. Because Maul was trained by the most powerful Sith the galaxy has ever known. It is in canon, it is in EU and Legends. Sidious is he is the culmination of thousands of years of the Sith. He is him when it comes to the Sith. There's no one stronger.
I would really like to see him go
Prophecy
against some
aside,
like ancient Sith lords though.
I would love to, but allegedly Palpatine is even stronger than these ancient Sith lords. Now, that kind of remains to be seen because we do have
He was more
we do
cunning.
have he, allegedly he is like the most like he's the best lightsaber duelist, he's the most cunning, he has the strongest force powers, like he is because at the time that all these old Sith lords were alive, they are contending with the dark side with these other Sith lords and vying for power, whereas at the time that Palpatine's alive, he is the only Sith Lord
Yeah, tapping
that
in.
has all of
Well,
the right. So he's got
that's
all of it.
that's basically the way Bane described the Force or the dark side of the Force. It's a sieve, and it's
Yes.
it when it's all contained in one spot, it's overflowing. Therefore, it's more powerful when it's consolidated. So
Yep.
that's what
And we
Bane
get that in
believed.
Palpatine.
That's why Rule of Two became a thing, because if it consolidates to two people, a master and apprentice, it will be a lot stronger.
Which we kind of see this to be true,
Yeah,
right?
but I would
At least
still
in the
love to
canon we get.
see Palpatine go up against Vitiate, or go up against fucking Tulak Horde, somebody like
Oh
that.
yeah. I mean those are like
Revan.
OGs, right? It Revan to me is like Star Killer, where he almost can't exist in this universe because he's so wildly overpowered. Like he Revan lives longer than any human should live. I mean, he literally lives for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Yes,
Like it
roughly 300,
even
I think.
Palpatine, yeah, even Palpatine doesn't live for that long. Um, so you know that it's a great line.
Well,
He
Revan,
wants you dead.
yeah. Before we get back to that, I want to add, Revan only lived for 300 years because he was kept alive by
By
the
the Dark Lord of the Sith.
yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, we
But
no
still,
more
it's
tangents. We
that's
gotta
oh, we're
stick
gonna
with
have
it.
tangents. But that you know, so we a good episode, right?
Yeah,
Episode 7 sets up the the rest of the dominoes to fall for getting to our finale, and the finale comes quick. And the last thing we see of Maul is he's in this tunnel, and he's kind of having uh,
he's defeated.
this
He's
sand
having
tunnel.
visions.
He's having visions. And
Yeah,
this leads us right into the start of episode 8, where we see Maul in this tunnel. He's having visions. And this is something big that I've wanted to talk about with someone for a minute now, for literally at least a week. Do you notice anything that has never been shown from Maul before that happens to him in this sand tunnel? It is an action that he does that we've never seen
he
before.
cries.
He cries.
Yeah,
He cries,
there's
bro.
tears.
He actually cries, and for the first time, we see a broken and defeated, like more than he's ever probably been. Because like throughout these other times, he's had hatred to keep him going.
Yeah,
But we finally reach a point where, you know, because Maul's mentioned it, he's like, everything was taken from me. I lost everything, and we see it in this moment where he's having visions of Savage when they were young, when Palpatine comes to get him from Dathomir, right? And we see Maul cry because he's like, I failed you.
yeah,
I failed you, Savage. Like, I should have never let him take me. Like, how could I have known? And, we see this. This is the best word to describe it. We see Maul and he's vulnerable. He's actually vulnerable. He's exposed, right? He's not only beaten physically, but mentally, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
that we hear that line haunting him and getting him angry of, he's got these visions of Savage, and then we hear this, Merrick's voice in his head of he wants you dead. He wants you dead, like almost like a psychopath just repeating the his anger to survive, right?
Hmm.
And so at this point, we get Maul kind of exiting out of going through the tunnel and working his way out. At this point, this kind of leads us, to uh, we get what we get um, Docky and we get Detective Lawson, who are in the tunnel. Fast forwards to them in the tunnel.
Yeah, they're
Docky can feel
searching for Devin.
Devin and Riley,
Hmm.
and it's exposed at this point. Devin comes running around the corner with her lightsaber, and she's like, "Guys, Riley got captured." Like, and she doesn't say in so many words like it's my fault. She
Yeah,
does take a big responsibility for it, but she doesn't say like, "Oh, instead of protecting Riley, I was fighting alongside Maul." Like we see her leave out these little details, and Docky can tell immediately like something's wrong. Like when you're with Maul, you come back different every time. Like something is changing in you. And because, Master Daki is like, we need to go. Like, you and me need to leave. The best thing we could do is remove ourselves from the equation.
Yeah.
Where Lawson obviously is like, well, I have to go get my fucking son. Like, I can't just not get my boy. And we see Devin immediately agree with, like, this is kind of the first time she really pushes back actively on her master, where she's like, you can do whatever the fuck you want. I'm going with Lawson here to get Riley. Like, that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
So, we get them go off to the police station, and this is, a defining character moment where we finally get Two Boots, who sees Riley captured. We see that Riley has been interrogated, and Two Boots is talking about protocol. He sees protocol being broken because he says something, right, about, like, you're not allowed to have Riley. You can't interrogate him. That's against code. And immediately this Imperial, I don't know what you call him, lieutenant, sergeant,
Yeah, Lieutenant Blake.
officer gets into Two Boots' face, and he's like, I don't give a fuck about
Yeah.
code or procedure.
Yeah.
Like, we're the Empire. I'm doing whatever the fuck I want. Unless you want your memory wiped, shut up and sit down.
Yeah, he's more like yeah, there's protocol and then there's results.
Yeah. No, that's an excellent way to put it. Because that's the Empire, right? They don't care about protocol. They care about results. And now we see Two Boots finally being conflicted. He's like, well, this is wrong. And what Detective Lawson did broke code, but he's starting to see, it's starting to come together why Detective Lawson broke code and didn't want to contact the Empire. Two Boots is starting to see, the cracks in the armor here of, okay, the Empire's not what I thought it was, and Lawson tried to tell me. Kind of fast forward a little bit, we get to the the great redeeming moment where Two Boots, basically gets a hold of Riley, and we see, instead of him being like, I'm taking you somewhere, I'm doing anything, Two Boots, what would you call it? Stuns, because it's a stun beam. He stuns the two stormtroopers, and he's like, Riley, I'm rescuing you. And I love the way that Two Boots says this. He says it with such enthusiasm, like he's figured out how to break his programming, and he's like, Riley, God damn it, come on, kiddo, we're getting
Yeah.
out of here, and I just shot these two guards.
Meanwhile,
Let's
Lawson's
go.
like prepared to turn himself in, and
Yeah,
he's
he's
basically going to
completely,
exchange himself for Riley, and
yeah, a 1-to-1. He's like,
so
I get to stay, and Riley gets to go.
fast
That's a
forward,
fair
and Two
trade.
Boots is like, yeah, we're not doing that. And then,
Yeah, no, I love that, right? They go to rescue him, and they're like, hey man, Two Boots is like, by the way, the deal's off.
yeah, yeah,
Did Yeah, in case you couldn't tell, because he turns around and immediately, at this point, I can't remember. I don't think he's stunning guards anymore. Like, Two Boots turns around and flat out like shoots a guard, and he's like, by the way, the deal's off, in case you didn't realize it. And I love this immediate 180 by Two Boots,
yeah. It's
where he
nice.
kind of puts it all together, and he's like, Captain,
We always
I'm a
knew he had it
fugitive.
in him.
He, you,
And
we've been rooting for Two Boots, right?
yeah, yeah,
You wanted to see it happen, and I'm so glad we got this payoff of, you know, hey, Two Boots finally about faced, and it's the gang's all back together, right?
hmm
And so I had mentioned this earlier. This kind of leads us to so they escape. They've got Riley. Riley's back. Two Boots is back. Docky, Lawson, and Devin. They're all in this speeder that Devin kind of steals, right? During this chase scene, this is one of the smallest Easter eggs, and it is the exact same Easter egg as they used this audio from The Force Awakens. During this scene of where they're running on the bridge, there's a moment where, they're being shot at, they launch off the bridge and they're being chased by speeder bikes. While they're being chased by speeder bikes, you can hear, and it's cool because both of these sound clips are used from the same source. You can hear as they're being chased, there's a close-up and almost like a shot-for-shot scene of the speeder bikes, and it uses that same swooping sound from Return of the Jedi, when they're doing the chase scene with Luke and Leia on the speeder bikes,
Yeah.
it's that same like ion engine sound of them on their speeder bikes. The clip is so small, and for a moment I was like, I thought I might have misheard it. If you fast forward like a minute, there's the scene where they're getting away, and I think it's Docky basically uses the force. He force halts, or force
Yeah.
pushes this speeder, and it launches into the air, and you get the scream of the guy going, ah!
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the scene where the guy on the speeder bike slams into the tree in Return of the Jedi. That it's the exact same audio, and that's all we get is him arcing over, and he slams right into the
Mm-hmm.
Republic gunship. It's such a cool Easter egg because they've pulled from all of these like heritage sources, these legacy sources
Yeah.
of Star
Yeah.
Wars. But it's really neat to hear the soundbite because when I heard that speeder bike one, I was like, maybe they just tried to recreate the sound because it sounded close, but I was like, there's no way they'd reuse the asset. And then I heard that scream, and it's funny if you listen when the explosion happens, you can hear the clank of metal all like it
Yeah.
does in Endor. You can hear that same clank of metal as soon as he hits and the explosion happens. So it is the same reused asset. I think that was a brilliant place to sneak it in at.
All right. So it looks like we're starting to get a little tight on time. So let's go back to Maul real quick. The visions he's having.
Yeah,
So he has
he's having these
he's
visions.
having these visions. He's like in a state. His fucking robotics are fucking on the fritz. Um, badly damaged, and so he's having these visions of one of his childhood, supposedly.
Yeah, him and Savage
Him and
when
Savage,
Palpatine comes and grabs
yeah.
him.
And then you see him as Spider Maul, and then you see him,
Yes.
then you see Savage be murdered, and then him be captured, and all that. And then you also see from Episode 1 Obi-Wan like coming at him
Yep.
with Qui-Gon's lightsaber. And an interesting little fact that I found out yesterday while watching some Sam Witwer interviews is Sam Witwer was tasked with voicing every character in those visions.
That's so neat.
Because, and there's a reason for it, not because it's like, oh, let's, so we don't have to get the other actors or take clips from the shows, but because, and there's if it, so if you are hyper aware of what is in these visions and their source material, you'll know that they're wrong. There's a reason Maul, or not, Sam Witwer voices all of them, because this is in Maul's head.
Yes.
These visions are false because he's not a reliable narrator. His mental and his psyche are broken. They've been broken since he was defeated on Naboo. So what, like, look at the, like, specifically the Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan wasn't running at him. He flipped over him and cut him in half.
Oh, that's true.
Go
That's
go back
true.
to Savage dying. He didn't say avenge us, brother, or whatever he said in the
No.
vision. He said, I'm sorry, I'm just not like you.
Yeah.
He's like,
And then he just
I'm
dies.
not as strong as you. I'm not like you. And then he dies. It's like, so was that little vision of him being taken by Palpatine real?
I have to imagine so, but I don't know, right? Because I would actually think that the Night Sisters get a hold of Maul. If there's actually a scene in Clone Wars, if I'm not mistaken, where it kind of shows like the all of the male Zabraks in the village are fighting and stuff because the Night Sisters
Yeah.
go there. Savage and Maul end up fighting, and Maul says, "Take me." Like, I'm not going to kill my brother. That's not happening. You take me. He spares Savage's life, and Mother Talzin takes him basically at that
Mm-hmm.
point, if I'm not mistaken.
Another aspect of these visions is, so again, Maul not being a reliable narrator, not having all his wherewithal in his mind. He is seeing all these sequences of events throughout his life as he is a victim of these things. He's a victim of Obi-Wan coming at him. And cutting him in half and basically killing him. He's a victim of Palpatine. He's a victim of everything. He's a victim in this situation. And it's like, you gotta stop seeing yourself as the victim. Like, I mean, yeah, you lost, several
Yeah,
times.
but you're not dead.
But a lot of these are consequences of your own actions.
Right. That's I love Sam Witwer's insight into Star Wars and the way
He
he
is the
interprets
one.
everything.
If it's not Dave Filoni, it's Sam Witwer, man.
I okay, so just as a quick aside, I love Dave Filoni. I love what he's done for Star Wars. I love his writing and his visions. I think Dave Filoni though is too afraid to go against the grain, and he glazes George Lucas
Yes. Yeah, he does.
real hard. Which I'm that's fine.
He's
George
the
Lucas, he is
apprentice.
the creator. It's right. Dave Filoni he learned at the feet, at the actual foot of George Lucas, trained by the master himself on the do's and don'ts of Star Wars. But who's the only person to ever correct Dave Filoni in a room? Sam Witwer. He's the only person to speak up and correct Dave
I
Filoni in a
wouldn't
room.
doubt it if Freddie Prinze Jr. did either, or did so
I
too.
would not.
Like,
Freddie's really in on his lore too,
yeah,
which he have to be to play canon, right? But it it's it's amazing to me that I do really love Dave Filoni,
yeah.
but then I see the direction he takes some stuff, and Jon Favreau kind of the same way, where I'm like, you guys are starting to Disneyfy Star Wars too much,
Is it is
and I
it
say,
them?
is it them or because like where do these ideas come from, right? And so I think this kind of leads us into a great spot, episodes 8 or 9 and 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Maul gets out, he gets out of the tunnel, the group escapes the Empire, they're all in hiding, they all have to think of a way off the planet,
They're
and
all
at this
in
point
Dario's office
they're all in
or
Dario's,
hideout,
well, so
whatever.
Maul is in Dario's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
office, and we get a message, right, from Dryden Voss,
Crimson
name
Dawn.
dropped Crimson Dawn, which, spoiler to anybody who hasn't watched Rogue One, or sorry, Solo. At this point, if you haven't watched Solo, that's on you. Um,
He's
Spoilers coming up.
he
Pause the video if you
he's
haven't
the
watched
big bad
Solo.
of Solo.
He's the big bad of Solo. He is the prime boss of Crimson Dawn. He is the syndicate leader for Crimson Dawn.
In
We don't know
Solo.
how, and in Solo. So we've name dropped at this point, and the Solo is 10 years in between. So we have a 20-year timeline between Order 66 and A New Hope. 20
Actually,
years
it's
takes place.
19 years.
19. Rounding up here. I'm on dad time. 20 years. In that halfway point, we get Solo that happens, and we're 1 year after the events of Order 66 during Maul. So within about 9 years, something happens in that entire time frame where at some point in those 8 to 9 years, we don't know when, Maul becomes the leader of Crimson Dawn. And this
I
part's
don't. At that
important.
point,
Well,
I don't think he's the leader of Crimson Dawn now. I'm thinking he's still doing Shadow Collective.
he might be, and it's because of the way that he always wants to hide behind the shadows, right? Because at this point, we find out that Maul's still alive. At the end of Solo, there's the big reveal.
Yeah.
That Maul's still alive. We have to think that, especially with the exposition we've now gotten from Maul, that Maul is still high priority, number one on Palpatine's shit list, number one guy who needs to be killed, and this hasn't happened yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Shadow Collective makes a lot of sense because he's got to stay behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
But the whole point of Shadow Collective is he really does run the show. And we've already seen, at this point in Maul, he's already taken over the Pikes. He's already assumed control of the Pikes where he's like, hey, man, that's a nice throne. Go sit
Yeah,
on that.
and that's
I
why
will
I
let
say
you know what
Shadow
to do.
Collective.
Right. Because he's pulling the strings, puppet master from behind the scenes. So, we get this point. Dryden Voss's name dropped. We kind of go into the beginning of episode 9 here, and this is where the finale really starts. We go into episode 9. Dryden Voss is seen talking to Maul and is like, I have a ship. I can get you off planet. You have to be at these coordinates right now. When I ping you, you have to be there. This is I'm not even going to land the ship, right? Like you're gonna hop in and we're fucking leaving
Yeah.
because he doesn't want to get entangled with the Empire. Smart guy.
Yeah, and there's some tit for tat for that as well.
There is, and we see in this moment, right? And this kind of sets it up for Crimson Dawn. If you kill the current leader of Crimson Dawn, I'll take over in exchange for getting you out of there. Like, and Maul goes, why should I trust you? You betrayed me. And he goes, well, that's in the past. I'm a man of the future. Like, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so Maul agrees. They still have no way out of the city, so Maul, I like that we see a bit of the Force. Again, we have the Force at work here, which they've shown in this show more than any other show they've ever shown, more than the Clone Wars 7 seasons combined, like more than anything. We see Sith and Jedi alike actually showing that they're part of this collective that can tap into the Force. They harness it. So Maul uses the Force to implant the vision into Devon's head of like, this is where you need to go. We get a meetup, and the two groups distrust each other heavily, but it's implied like, okay, without each other, we're all gonna die here.
Yeah.
Hot on the tail, we've got the two Inquisitors, right? We've got Merrick and the Crow. Just very, very hot on the heels. And this leads us to a great fight sequence.
Oh yeah.
As they're trying to escape, they get to this is one really cool beginning of the excellent fight sequences that unfold. There's a power plant they have to go to, and they have to get inside the power plant because there's a series of underground tunnels underneath that'll take them outside the city.
Yeah.
Obviously, the front of the power plant is guarded, and this, more than any other point in the show, this is where we get to see Maul. Like Maul that we've been building up to. This is Maul, like, he's pissed. He's been losing. He's literally on the back foot because of his damaged leg. Playtime's over. We see him take out an entire ATST, slicing its legs, throwing his
ripped
lightsaber
straight from
through
Force
it.
Unleashed.
It's so good. It's so good.
Cuts the leg and then throws the lightsaber and slices it in half. Like,
I love the callbacks. That was such an excellent scene, and I love too because we get more of this coming up. But like Maul's starting to use his lightsaber more, right? Like we see Maul use it in the games, or like we've been able to use it in games past, where he's throwing his lightsaber, right? It's able to take people out. He's using the dual blade to its full advantage and stuff. Because we see Maul very, like right now he's just using the one, which I like that they incorporated that too.
yeah.
Because the implication of Maul, fighting with the dual bladed lightsaber is that, well, it can still be one. And Maul's very powerful with two, but how much more powerful is he with one? And we see the results of that, right? He takes out a whole fucking ATST. We get into the power plant, we go underground, and this leads to one of my favorite sequences because of all that happens here.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's like a lake of sludge, like toxic acid sludge. And
yeah,
the
runoff from
the only way across is this one little, like, basically one person transport that can go back and forth, and they decide that they can fit two people on it.
I also love right before the scene where they find out it's sludge, Two Boots with the great commentary where he's like, they've been dumping toxic waste illegally. I'm gonna have to report this, and it just cuts to like Maul, Detective Lawson, and Docky just all like just staring at him like,
yeah, like,
now's not the time or
Bro.
place. And Two Boots is like, he's like, you know what? We've got bigger problems. You're right. Now's not the time. I love that little interjection of comedy.
Yeah.
I think it's so good because it's very dry comedy, right?
And
but
it's the
even
last
look on
comedy
Docky's
we get.
face,
It's the last
it's
comedy
the
we
last
get.
comedy we get. At this point, we're getting, we get the first two people across, which is Lawson and Riley, right? They hop on, and I love the bot, how he's snickering and stuff. During this scene, we get a very heartfelt, like, Lawson's like, I could have been a better dad to you. I'm sorry we didn't get a lot of time together. Riley goes, hey, this is the most time we've ever gotten to spend together. Like, let's look at the positives here. I love this scene. It's very endearing. And then you get Spybot, who's just like, you guys are so lame. Like, he really, really stops them. Is like, you guys, this is this is so cringe. And Lawson's just like, do you mind? Like, I'm trying to have a moment with my boy.
Yeah.
And this is the last scene we get before all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
I love how in this series they have, again, using the Force, because we have people who are Force sensitives. God damn it, show it. Daki, a true Jedi Master, right? And Maul even says at this point, Maul even says something about how Daki is like truly a master. Like, we
Yeah.
need him. He is, in fact, like a legitimate
He says
master of
that,
the
and I think
Force.
he's just like placating. He's just like trying to butter him up, and he even calls him Master Daki. He
I
shows
think
he
yes
shows
and
respect
no.
to him.
I think that he is placating him a little bit, and he's kind of like, he's buttering him up. But at the same time, we see a different side of Maul where, like, yes, there's a bigger vision, but I do think that some of these statements are sincere from Maul, because the things he says to Devin trying to butter her up, those aren't just like senseless statements. They're not just like dark side tactics to like, hey, let me try to sway you. Everything he says actually has like truth to it.
Yeah.
He's been honest with Devin the entire time. And I think he's being honest in this moment with Daki, where he's like, actually, like, you are in fact a good Jedi Master. Like, you're an honorable man. You're a good Jedi Master. Like, I think Maul does have a, if nothing else, at least a grain of respect for Daki, because
Yeah.
he's like, not many people have bested me in a lightsaber duel, and he's like, you kind of fucked my leg up there, champ. Like, it's kind of like game recognizes game, right? Daki senses that something's wrong, and it all explodes. And this is my favorite part: is we don't get some slow walking around the corner of these two inquisitors and their lightsabers, turn on, and we get a standoff. These dudes come fucking barreling out
Yeah.
running. Like, if I'm not mistaken, Marok literally runs in and like up and over and does this sort of spin and uses that Sith yell to
Yeah.
like, unleash his dark side and like twirls. We get that Sidious twirl
Yeah.
where he twirls at them,
Which Maul
and
did in episode 7, by the way, when he
he
fucking
did.
crashed through that giant like boulder or whatever, like that piece of the
Yeah.
bridge.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Which it's such a good callback to like, these aren't just things that like only Palpatine would know, or these aren't just characteristics Palpatine has. These are powers of the Force, dark side energies that like
Mhm.
Sith use in order to like bolster themselves for a fight, right? Like, they're tapping into their dark side, and
Yeah.
it's so prominent that they have to display something. So it's like a show of rage. So it's really good. Hey, Chewie. It's really good in that scene. I just love how they both come barreling out and the fight ensues, right?
Yeah. And we get a
And
great fight.
it's an excellent fight. We see some really cool there's some really neat scenes in this fight. Namely, there's a there's a scene where, like, I think it's Maul or it's Devin. Because in this scene, right, so Daki and Devin are fighting one Inquisitor, where Maul is fighting another Inquisitor.
Mhm.
And this implies that one of the Inquisitors is so good, he can take on a Master Jedi and Devin by himself.
Yeah.
Because he's not, now granted, he's got the stormtroopers behind him laying down cover fire and stuff. There's exchanges of fire going on. But in this chaos, he's thriving, right? This Inquisitor is thriving. He's able to fight a bona fide master with his, the apprentice. Like, Devin's not really much of a threat. She's just kind of there. But he's not sweating. Like, most of this fight, he's got them on the back foot.
Yeah.
Most of Maul is on the back foot with this, right? But there's a scene where Maul takes his
Yeah.
lightsabers apart. And I love that. Say he takes his lightsabers apart, and there's a moment where I think it's Devin, because Daki and Maul are kind of like taken out of the fight momentarily, and Maul throws an extra lightsaber to Devin because both of the blades from the Inquisitors come down, and she literally does like a backhand with one and a forward hand with the other. It's very like Ahsoka coded,
Yeah.
right? But I thought that scene was so cool because it's such a split second. Like if you don't pay attention, it's gone. But like when he throws the lightsaber, she catches it and immediately like ignites the lightsaber and blocks. I just think that's such cool choreography. We get a lot of cool fight choreography
Yeah,
in this scene.
and we get the death of the other Zabrak brother,
We do,
and
which
he
is
goes
he
down like a
goes out
fuck.
like such a
Yeah, fucking
he's such
boss.
a baller, dude. It absolute G like where he's shooting all these stormtroopers. He sees that he's not going to make it. So what does he do? He looks at the three in front of him and basically tackles all of them straight into the fucking toxic sludge. Like
Yeah,
such a cool scene, dude. I don't know. The sacrifice and it's impactful, right? Because Maul sees this and he's like, that's the only other one of my kin who is still with me. Now he's gone.
yeah,
He's dead. And we see the Mandalorians dying, which at this point we're down to like what, two
yeah.
Mandalorians? We've
Two
got
and
the
Rook.
two and Rook. And so, at this point, they're all getting across and stuff. I think this is a very cool sequence where Maul realizes that Daki is important. He needs Daki in this moment, but he really needs Devin.
Yeah,
Daki and Maul kind of team up here and they're fighting everybody. Devin does her leap and then manages to jump. And then she's force holding this thing because again, the little details where she puts so much pressure on it that like it kind of blew out the anti-grav,
yeah,
right? So she's got it, and I love how quick she does it. It's almost like Jedi instinct, right? Where she lands on it, she jumps off. I love the shot too because it pans out to the wide shot, and we see her leap and then do like a twirl on the roof to get to the other side. Super fucking cool, dude. It's almost like a scene from a video game, just super
yeah.
neat. Um, and then she immediately turns around and is like holding this skiff, like I gotta do it. In this moment, Daki and Maul are kind of trapped, and Maul's like, go.
Yep.
I love how he's just like, go. I think in that moment, that was a true honorable moment from Maul. I don't think there was any like
Yeah.
facade or, deceit going on. In that moment, he's like, I will do this. You need to go. Like, you need to go. And so he lets Daki go, and Daki does it expertly as he does. And then Maul gets away, right? Maul finally gets away from Marok and from the Crow, and they just kind of let this skiff go down. And it's at this point, we cease fire. Both sides are like, holy shit, we got the good guys, because Maul's still with them in the Mandalorians, where shit, we barely made it out of here. We're done. We're leaving. And these Inquisitors and Stormtroopers are over here like, well, fuck, we have no way to cross.
So what does Marok say?
What does he say? Like, tell him they're coming his way, or
Yeah.
something like that.
And you're like, oh, who?
Now at this moment, we don't know for sure, but anybody who's a big Star Wars fan, like, you have to feel it in your core because there's only one person that the Inquisitors report to. The Inquisitors don't report to Palpatine. Palpatine can give a fuck less about the Inquisitors.
Yeah, no shit.
There's only one person the Inquisitorius report to. And so we get them coming out of this underground tunnel, right? They're into the forest. It's very hard to see. It's very foggy. And so at this moment, we get Rook, who says, me and this other guy will scout it out, right? Because Spybot goes, and he's like, well, and should I say, I guess not Spybot. In this moment, we lose Spybot.
Yeah.
In the previous battle, we lose Spybot. And it's sad because we lost Proxy, and now we lose Spybot.
Yeah.
It's kind of, it's poetry. Even though it's a game, it's still Star Wars and it rhymes. Like and Maul's visibly shaken by this because he's like,
Yeah,
I've
that's
lost
his
my
fucking
Zabrak
boy.
brothers. I've lost my bot who was with me until the end. Vario, by the way, is somehow still alive in all this.
Yeah.
That little fucking scamp. Somehow still alive. So, we get all of them outside in the open, kind of. They're in the forest. It's very foggy. Rook says to the only other surviving Mandalorian at this point, we'll go ahead and we'll scout ahead. We'll let you hear what we report back. And Maul goes, okay. They go into the fog. It's a moment of silence. And then we hear something. And you and I were just talking about this yesterday. we get the big reveal of who this person is that's been hunting them, who's been sending the Inquisitorius after them. Rook comes running out of the fog. It's implied the other Mandalorian's dead, and she
Yeah.
goes, "I don't know what the fuck we just saw, but that thing's not human. Like there's something out there." And then we get you can hear like almost the Force grasp,
Mm-hmm.
like the same choking sound. She gets slammed on the ground and drug right into the fog.
Yeah.
That moment is like a horror movie.
Yeah, it
moment,
is.
dude. It's scary as fuck because you're like, oh my god. And then the number one most recognizable sound from Star Wars, more recognizable than a lightsaber, I would argue. We hear the breathing.
Yep. The respirator,
And
yeah.
the respirator, and out of the fog comes our boy, Darth fucking Vader, the Dark Lord of the Sith.
And we're about to get the matchup of the fucking century.
It's finally happened. We were talking about this at the beginning
Huge
of Maul.
fan
People have
service.
been wanting this for years. The fan service that happens here, we're a little past time, but I can't not talk about this.
Yeah.
The fan service that happens is it's dripping. People have been waiting literally 27 years since episode 1 came out in 1999 for this what if of, are we going to get a Maul and Vader face off? And here it is, folks. Like, Vader steps out of the fog, and you had just mentioned this yesterday, and all of the things that Disney has done, they have never once fumbled. And all of their missteps, their mistakes, their, erasing canon and rebooting shit, retroactively going back and making new canon, they've never fumbled Darth Vader.
No. Not once.
He's always... I think with Vader, because you had mentioned it too in us texting together, with Darth Vader, less is more. If you put too much Darth Vader into stuff, it very much like it oversaturates the market, right? We get too much Vader. It's like Jedi survivors from Order 66, whether it's in the games or it's in the shows. You're just like, okay, now we've gotten to a point to where there's so many surviving Jedi. Like, was Order 66 that effective? To anybody who asks themselves that question, the answer is yes. We went from over 1,000 Jedi at the height of the Republic, the High Republic, to the Fall of the Jedi, where, as far as we know, there are less than 20 surviving Jedi. At this point, I think by name, there's only less than 10 that have been introduced between the games and the shows. There's not a lot. So we get the face off, right?
Mm-hmm. Here's my question.
Everybody who's not...
Here's my question. Since we're pretty much out of time, do we want to actually do a finale episode?
I would be willing to do a finale episode because I have so much to talk about.
And if anybody watches up to this point, which I don't think anybody has, we haven't gotten a lot of views on this series on YouTube, so is
That's
what it
all right.
is.
We're doing it for the love of the game.
Yeah, for sure. So if anybody is watching at this point, we could essentially leave them on a cliffhanger.
I would love that because that's kind of what we get for going into this last episode is we get a huge cliffhanger of, they've escaped and it's what do we do next? And we get the Darth Vader reveal after he brutally murders Rook, by the way. Like, it's implied she's done. She's gone. She's dead. Kills her that quick. And it's funny because the way we hear it when she dies, this is kind of something I'll end on. The way we hear it when she dies, we don't hear a lightsaber. We don't hear, like, blaster fire. He literally pulls her back with the Force and snaps her fucking neck.
Yep.
We just hear the crack of her neck. You're like, there's only one person who kills people in that way. Only one. And it's our boy Vader.
Yes.
And I think this would be an excellent point to stop and leave anyone who happens to view on a cliffhanger and we can have a finale episode, which is very fitting.
Yeah, I mean we've covered 3 episodes in this one, so it's like, and
this
then
last episode deserves so much fucking justice for everything it sets up, for all that it implies.
All that, and then we'll just cut it here. We'll break down the final episode, and then we'll also just do a series series review, like look back at the series, you know, like we'll
I
give
like
our
that.
thoughts on the entire series, the whole series, not just the final episode. And I think that this is a good point. I
This
think
is a good stopping point. We have a lot to cover in episode 10.
yeah, because there's a
There's
lot I
so
want to
much that
say.
happens.
There's a lot I want to
There's a
say, and
ton I want to say.
we just don't have the time right now. So
Yeah, we are out of time. So, hey, that's a great segue into our ending. Take us away, Dick.
all right, thank you guys for watching. This series is has been a passion of ours. I mean, and this is like it's extra content for us. So it's like we really appreciate anybody who watches or likes us on YouTube. You know, subscribes to the YouTube, all that fun stuff. So please do that. Please hit the like button. Comment below if you think we're saying dumb shit about Star Wars. We want to know.
Yeah,
Although like
let's hear your thoughts.
Scotty and I are pretty much very like-minded when it comes to Star Wars. Like there's very little we disagree about on Star Wars. So
There's a few things that like we miss some details just because it's 50 years almost of Star Wars
yeah,
lore to keep up with, but like I also think you and I are Dick and I are pretty seasoned in our knowledge
yeah,
here.
and we're not only are we seasoned, we get it, we love it, and
It's so
we're
good.
very on the same page.
Yeah,
So
so much so.
So that being said, please like this video, comment, subscribe to the channel, and check out our live show every Thursday, sometimes Wednesdays on Facebook
Sometimes Wednesdays.
for actual podcastrophe proper. You know, um, yeah, and then you can catch us on iTunes and Spotify and all that good shit. Um, yeah, that's all I've got. So stay tuned for the Maulcastrophe season finale.
Can't wait. I've got so
Whenever we
much to
record
say
that.
on this. We will record it soon.
Yeah,
I have so much to say on
that'll
it
give me
though.
a chance to
So
rewatch it as well. So that'll be fun.
yeah, I'm definitely rewatching that last episode. It's
So
too good.
yeah, with that being said, thank you everybody, and make every day a big dick day. Bye guys.
Later, y'all.